how are you all doing? I hope you're having a lovely, lovely day. I am going to invite the amazing Elisalex. Da, da, da. Always sing a little song when I do my inviting. I'm meant to have new internet, but it didn't actually get installed in time. Hopefully, yay! Hi!
I'm really good,
How are
thanks.
you
How are
doing?
you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I literally just pushed B and Stephen out the door. They were taking so long, and I was like, I really need to get up. So I didn't even get to my summer house. I'm in well,
Yeah,
you know the spot. This is the
remember.
podcasting spot. So yeah, and you have beautiful books
So
behind you,
this
which
is
is
my
very
dad's
fitting.
study. I'm at my dad's weekend, and so I've just
No.
like run into his study and shut the door, and I'm like, guys, I'm not available for a little bit. Um, yeah, it looks very legit, but obviously none of these are my books, but my dad.
Did you ever see the video of that amazing Zoom chat where the guy had put like maps and stuff behind him, and then his kids run in and the maps
So
fall off
great.
the floor? And he had like a really important business meeting, and he was trying to look really
No,
professional.
that's great. That's such a good technique, though. That's so great.
Good,
But like
good, yeah.
the back and like all the
Oh,
mannequins and just make it look really legit.
yes, yeah, exactly. We are talking
Yeah.
about sewing, honestly. But how are you doing? It's been so long. What have you been up to the last kind of couple of years in
Oh
a
my God,
nutshell?
last
How is
couple of years.
Elisalex?
Yeah, no, I'm really good. I'm really well. I feel like I'm like work-wise, I feel like I'm still kind of riding the wave of, post-pandemic, I guess. I mean, I think for so many hobbyist businesses, it was really good. It really kind of boosted not only sales, but also like awareness of how amazing things like sewing is for your mental health and stuff like that. So I feel like it was a really great time for businesses like ours. Uh, and it really helped us to kind of grow. So I'm still like riding that wave. We've just hired a new social media manager called Elle, who's amazing. And so that feels like, oh, finally I can kind of like hand that over. So that feels like a relief. I definitely feel like we've got so much going on, and there's this kind of, I definitely feel overwhelmed at times by the how many patterns we've got going on simultaneously, how many different projects we've got going, other little kind of extracurricular things, and like life in general. But it's good, but like, good overwhelm. And it's all like how to manage
Good.
a business better and how to manage people better and all that kind of stuff. So it's all really, it's good stuff, good challenging stuff. uh, so yeah, so
Good.
work is this kind of, and also like we've been doing it for I've been doing this for 10 years now. So it's like, even if I get moments where I feel overwhelmed by everything that's happening right now, I look back over the last 10 years and I'm like, wow, it's just really been like a kind of constant up and down roller coaster of changes and growth and plateaus and scary moments and then great moments. And like, so it's like, it's all good. It's all good.
Props, yeah. And how big is your team now? Because I kept seeing, updates of your team growing and growing, and it's amazing
Thanks.
seeing that
Yeah,
happen to buy hand undone.
it's been up and down. I mean, so it was for a while after Victoria left, which would have been about 5 years ago, I think, like that. And then it was just me and Charlotte left, she was my original co-founder. And then she moved to Amsterdam with her husband and had two boys. So then she eventually kind of decided she was done about 3 years ago, I want to say, maybe 3 years ago. So then for a little while, for about a year or maybe 4 years ago, I can't remember. But yeah, so for a little while, it was just me on my own. And then in September 2019, I hired Jess, who's like my right hand gal. And literally couldn't function without her. She's incredible. So then it was me and Jess, and that was perfect timing as well, because that was just right before all of the COVID stuff happened. So I was like so grateful to have somebody else to like, talk to and manage things with, and actually help propel all the things that we put into place and all the growth and all that kind of stuff. So that was Jess in 2019. And then Matty joined us last summer. So I think we're probably coming up to Matty's 1 year anniversary, and she's amazing. Couldn't live without her either. So then we were three, and then I just hired Elle a couple of weeks ago. So she's just joined us, and she's already like feels like she's always been there. So it's amazing. It's really, really great. And I mean,
Oh, that's so good. just great to have
It's
someone
so
to bounce
important.
off,
It's
isn't it?
so, it can be so lonely running your own business. And we've got other, you know, we've got other freelancers that we work with and stuff like that. So I guess in all, the team's probably about 8 strong. But they're obviously, they're not with us every day in the studio. So the core team feels like the 4 of us. Um, but yeah, it can be really, really, there has been really, really lonely times. So I value having the girls to chat to, and to, you know, if I need to offload any of my overwhelm or anything like that. And they obviously, they come up with the most amazing ideas, and their feedback is, their kind of design feedback and ideas are always so brilliant and on point. And I'm like, yes, oh my God, it's great. It's really great. It's all.
Oh, that team, that's so good. It's so good. And it must be really lovely as well, because you started with 2 friends and you were kind of, you know, all doing this together. And then, yeah,
Mhm.
obviously they went off and did their own thing. And you must be like, right, I need to actually employ people that want to do this. It must have been
Definitely,
quite
yeah,
a sea
that really
change for
was.
you.
It's true, because you kind of, at the beginning, we just, like you said, it was, we were friends and it was like really fun, obviously, and we had an amazing time. But then being in the position of like, oh, okay, now I'm the only boss and I have to hire people that are gonna, you know, it's, yeah, it's really tricky. Like people that I'm gonna be able to really work efficiently
Mm.
with, but that are also gonna feel like part of the family as well. So yeah, but it's worked.
But maybe in some ways, because it is also quite hard to get a friend to do a job when you know they're having like a hard week and you're like, but can you also do this? Whereas, you know, when you have employees, there is that kind of line that you can be like, no, this is your job and we need to get it done. So it's
Yeah,
just different, isn't it?
I don't know if I've yet managed to like master that. I definitely feel like all the girls are like my friends and I don't feel a hierarchy at all. And quite often, like even with Jess, I joke that like actually I need her to be managing me and I need a boss. So she's like, even though like I employ her, it's like she needs to tell me what to do and how to do. I don't feel like there's a hierarchy and I hope the girls wouldn't feel that way either. But yeah, it definitely feels easy and breezy, and I think everyone just really loves it. So I don't think there's never been a situation where I've had to say this needs to get done or anything like that. So it's all good.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
like the sweet spot. That's amazing. And you've got a studio
Yeah, so
now
we
as
moved
well.
into
When
the
did you get
studio
that?
in January last year. So we've been there for about a year and 6 months now, and it's amazing. It's obviously it's so great to be out of the house and to have this place, and it's really great. The location's amazing. We're right on the canal, right near Golborne Road, which is kind of one of my favorite areas of London, where I've kind of, you know, grown up and stuff. So it's just feels really good to be there, and it's especially now like when the weather's lovely and sun's and we're all kind of coming into work and we're like, let's just have a little walk down Goulburn for lunch, and like the sun's like streaming in through the windows and we've got the view of the canal, and it's a really, really, I mean, it's a really, really nice place to be.
Oh, that's so lovely. Was it open the whole way through pandemic
So we
then and
moved
lockdown and
in
things?
January 2021. So it was after the first main lockdown. And actually we went into another lockdown, I think like the week after we signed the contract and moved in, but they stayed open for that one. So we just went in.
Oh, good. Oh, that's amazing. So, what's your kind of? I'd love to know your like day to day. So you go into the studio. Are you with the whole
No,
team
so
the whole
so
time, kind of
basically
thing?
we're usually in the studio all together 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Then Tuesdays and Thursdays I'll usually work from home just because it can be a bit boring in the studio by myself. But if I need to go, then I'll go. Yeah, it's pretty relaxed. I mean, I guess like a typical day, I wake up pretty early. I wake up at around 5:30 most days. Get my
I,
I
I need
know
to be
what,
a
Gabby,
morning
it's a
person.
new thing and I couldn't recommend it enough. I mean, I say new, it's like in the last 2 years. I never used to be a morning person. I used to resist having to set my alarm for like 7 or 7:30 just to get my son to school so much. Whereas now, like now, secondary school, and he, you know, he has like an hour commute in the morning, so he has to get up and he gets up at like 6:30, 6:30 to get to school, and waking up at 5:30 gives me an hour before he's even up, so I can get my meditation in. I can, like, you know, chill, make my breakfast, make his breakfast if he wants it, you know, and that kind of hour to myself on weekday mornings has just become so precious. Sometimes I'll go and like hit up a 7 a.m. yoga class. I was quite good at doing that. I need to get back on the old yoga wagon. Slipped off in the last couple of weeks, but it's always there, so it's fine. Uh,
Yeah.
then yeah, and I'll usually kind of start doing some work at around 7 or 8 at home, like, you know, whatever administrative stuff I need to get done on my computer, like over breakfast. And then I'll head into the studio. We all kind of get into the studio around about 10 o'clock in the morning. And there's a lot, I
Nice.
mean, there's a lot of chit chat that's not necessarily sewing related. You know, we're usually kind of like debriefing each other on our weekends, or like what's going on with in our relationships. And like, you know, there's a lot of tears. We always kind of bring our problems or our sadnesses or whatever, and like support each other. And yeah, so there's a lot of that. And then the day to day really kind of depends on where we're at in the, you know, with a new pattern. So Matty will always be packing orders in the morning, like printing off copy shop files. Jess kind of deals with the more like strategic stuff, so she'll be checking the spreadsheet and like, where are we at with this pattern, calling the graders, chasing them up, you know, checking to see if I've like, you know, gone through to edit the instructions, what is it that we need from various different people. Then there'll be, quite often I'll be maybe sewing up some samples. Jess will be sewing up samples. When it's like, when we've got a photo shoot coming or a new pattern getting ready to be photographed, then all of us are usually like all hands on deck for like the week or 2 weeks before, all sewing samples. So that's usually like frantically fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Fun.
yeah. And then on Fridays we
Amazing.
usually have a team meeting. Obviously now that we've got Elle, we'll then, like, when she's in, she comes in 1 day a week. So when she's in, we'll be doing like social media stuff. Like last week we all like went out and found like a cute little wall and did like a little mini photo shoot. And so that was really nice. And that kind of, or she'll be, do this, or I need to do a little film of this, I need to get a little snippet of doing this. And it's just like, to have someone just to be able to tell you like, I need this and now, and then I'm gonna like stitch it all
Oh,
together and make it look wicked. It's like, oh, amazing.
oh, that is the ultimate dream, isn't it? Because, you know, social media takes a long time. It takes a lot out of you, and it's you know, you have to have such a structured like mindset with it. And I
Yeah.
never really kind of realized that, but in order to use it as the tool that it can be, it's got to be pretty disciplined. And I think we're both quite similar, that we go up and down with our discipline. So yeah, it's really
It's amazing.
amazing to have someone to take that on. So yeah, good for Elle. That's brilliant. So what have you got coming up next then? You've got, I mean, so many. Every time I think of, you know, party dresses, it's by Hand London every time. And that's what we're used to seeing you with. But you've had so many other things like coats and trousers and everything. And I'd love to know, you know,
Yeah.
where you're going with things.
Have some really exciting things that, annoyingly, a couple of them I can't talk about yet, but let me like dangle the little teaser right there. We've got two. So one really big exciting thing that I've just started working on that is top secret for the time being, and one other exciting thing that's going to be coming out really, really soon. And it's basically just, it's kind of like sewing patterns, but a slightly different concept in sewing patterns. um, so I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be really, really cool. And but I can't really say anything about it. Uh, but and it's not even that crazy. It's not even like, oh my, you know, it's just like something a little bit different, but still obviously along the same lines. Sewing pattern wise, we are getting ready to re-release our Romana coat. I think on Monday. I think literally on. I think we were gonna drop it on Friday, but then it was like 33 degrees, and we were like, guys, and obviously rushing to get the product page ready and get all the everything bits together, the newsletter and stuff. And we were like, guys, it's the hottest day of the year. Like, we don't actually really need to push this release today. We can save it until Monday.
That is a bad, because who would want to think of a wool coat
They
on the
feel quite
last
nauseous
Friday?
as well. So anyway, so that's coming next week, and I'm really excited because it's obviously we're going back through, you know, like slowly but surely we're going back through all of our older patterns and updating them with more sizes since we did our size expansion. So it's going to be available in sizes UK 2 to 38, and that's US 00 to 34. So that's really exciting. We've also added a new double-breasted variation to it, which I'm really excited about. And so now it's the, you know, it's like the perfect classic coat that it always was, but it just now has like a slightly different variation with a little bit more of a crossover on the center front. So that's really nice. And we've also improved the instructions, and Jess, master Jess that she is, she's obsessed with tailoring, and she just kind of came in and figured out a much better way to sew the vent and all that, like some of the little trickier elements of sewing Romana. So we've rewritten the instructions so they're a lot easier to follow, and essentially, and what the whole point is, they result in a much kind of crisper finish. So I'm really excited and really proud of that re-release that's coming on Monday. So watch this space.
That's what I love about indie patterns, though. I feel like there's so many of you at the moment changing things up, adding size ranges and including so many more people. And it's so lovely to see that actually they're not closed books. They're just, you know, jumping up for you to improve even further, make even more kind of, you know, things accessible.
Well, I
it's
think,
brilliant.
I mean,
really
you know, I think the whole point of sewing is for everybody to be able, is it should be accessible to absolutely everybody. It should be accessible for the people who can't find clothes in the shop that fit them, you know, and it's our responsibility as pattern makers to be able to provide as much variation, as much option for absolutely as many people as we possibly can, you know. And yeah, and it's great, you know. I think anything that challenges us and pushes us to do better and to include more people and to and essentially, even from a business point of view, just to improve our product, you know, just what it is that we can provide is so valuable. And you know, it's great. It's really, and I think it helps me to kind of think of things in a more expansive way and a more inclusive way, and in a more like problem solving way, as opposed to, not that it's a problem, but like in a like, how can we use this issue or information to do better and to kind of troubleshoot and to expand and grow and be better, rather than be like, oh shit, that's going to be really hard, I don't know how to do that, we can't do that, you know. And to, you know, it's like I think I've been dealing with quite a lot of like mechanics and builders that recently, and you know, there's that attitude of like, oh, I don't know about that, darling, you know, like that's gonna be tricky, that's, I don't know if we can do, you know. Where's the like can do attitude? And like, so I think we could all do with more of a can do attitude, I think.
Yes, I'm doing empowering women's woodworking at the moment, and honestly, I've gone from first week being like, I'm so sorry, this is really bad, to like, of course I'm not sorry, and I can do it. And yeah, it's just a change in mindset. It's been amazing, and I think that's a real silver lining of the pandemic, because everyone paused and listened, and then went, wait, what am I'm been doing this all wrong. Well, not all wrong, because now I'm apologizing again, but I can do better. Is so the thing, isn't it? Like, I better, and I can.
Well, we're all doing the best that we can, so, I think, on every given moment with the information that we have to hand, and we can just keep doing better when we get more information and, you know, more challenges. So no need to apologize for, like, you know, not being equipped with all of the information before. Just all you can do is just keep cracking on and doing better with what you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. So how about you? Are you sewing anything at the moment apart from samples and things? Have you got another, you know, thing that you're working on? Because you always have like a beautiful birthday dress or something up your
Not
sleeve.
till October. I don't have a birthday dress to work on just yet. I haven't, like, I made a dress last week, and that's for a blog post. It's a Liz dress, and it's a really hack I made with some new
No.
craft house fabric. So that's coming out next week. So I'll be able to show that next week. And yeah, I've been really craving some selfish sewing time because I haven't really had that much of it recently. I made a new Romana coat a couple of months ago, and that was obviously quite a big make. And I've done a couple of bits and pieces here. I did some wrap skirts for a tutorial that's just come out in Love Sewing this issue. Actually, big whole I need to go to the shops and get it. Actually, I think there was a shipping delay and now it's in the shops, but they did a whole supplement for us to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, which was amazing, and I haven't even seen it yet. But I did 3 wrap skirts for that tutorial, so I made those. But like actual selfish sewing time, I haven't had that for a little while, and my son starts summer holidays in like a couple of weeks or something crazy like that. Like, what the hell, man? We're already at summer holidays. I know. What? Like, he's second year of secondary school done already. Anyway, I don't know, man. Time's just going way too fast. But I think when he breaks up for summer holiday, I might give myself like a week, a little sewing half term for myself. And I think, just to kind of sew some new summer dresses as if I need them.
You always need more dresses.
Thanks. I know I'm a good. Yeah.
The more fun we can be inspired to make our own, because I think out of all of the sewing community, Elisalex, you are the most inspiring when it comes to a summer or party dress. Everyone always says it whenever we talk, about like, who do you look at on Instagram? It's always Elisalex. So, you've got to keep inspiring us.
Thanks. That means a lot. That really means a lot. And that's great. That's exactly the kind of like little ego boost that I need to. People expect something of me. I need to go and make more beautiful dresses and more party dresses, and like, how can I, anyway, no, there's never any shortage of ideas. There's loads of things I want to make. And I did a little bit of a de-stash the other day, and just because of my stash of fabric is so massive and overwhelming, it's like I can't decide what to make. So I just basically like purged a whole bunch of stuff and brought it all to the studio, just so at least it'd be out of my sewing room at home, and we'd have it at the studio so we can use it for samples, for shoots, for like toiling or whatever, or if the girls want to take some of it, they can take it. And I've just kept the really special ones, the ones that I really, really love, which is still quite a lot. So anyway, I'm hoping that by having done that and like rediscovered some fabrics that I've been at the bottom of the pile for months that I haven't seen for ages, I'm gonna get some like fresh inspiration and make myself a nice little list, draw myself out some little, summer sewing sketches. I always love doing that with the little swatches and stuff. But yeah, and I know that I'm pretty slack on Instagram these days. I feel like the last year or so I've just kind of dropped the ball with it a little bit, but I try to do my best to like at least share some of the process on stories and like a little selfie in stories, even if I don't actually then ever get around to taking like nice photos of them in real life. But now I can get her to do that with me and for me and help me, and like, so hopefully I'll be able to be a bit more present on Instagram moving forward. But summer's always a great way, you can always much easier to take photos in the summer and feel inspired to share in the summer.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, I mean, we're already almost out of time, but I mean, there were so many other questions I had, but I would love to know, what your kind of sewing routine is. So like, are you watching something, listening to something, or because everyone seems to have a different one.
I love hearing about other people's sewing routines as well. Sorry.
Hello.
Somebody else will get that. I'll just leave that to ring. I like to listen to podcasts quite a lot of the time, but quite specifically, I really like natural medicine and like functional health kind of podcasts. So I'm really interested in nutrition, and I'm actually about to sign up to do like a part-time nutritional therapy degree in a year and a half's time. I have to do like the equivalent of a science A level before I can get on the course. So I'm going to do that next year. So I don't think I'm going to actually be starting it until like at least another year and a half or something. But that's like my other passion in life alongside sewing.
Have you always been interest in that, or is that something, because I kind of feel like seeing your stories and everything, you are definitely going, you've been going more that way the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the last couple of years is when I've actually started taking it seriously and actually kind of integrating it into my everyday life. It's always been something that I've been interested in, you know, like just a kind of general, like more natural spiritual approach to life has always been something, has always been my leaning. But yeah, but then kind of a couple of years ago, I was like, yeah, but I'm not actually like living that way, you know, like this is how I feel and this is what my values are and this is what is important to me, but I'm not actually implementing that in my day-to-day life, and that needs to change. And so yeah, so a couple of years ago, like a lot of really great kind of quite significant changes I put into place in my life, and you know, like regular meditation and stopping drinking and like being a lot more you know, like I don't eat sugar and like stuff like that, you know. So
and you grow
my own
vegetables?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a total beginner with vegetable growing, but I'm trying and it's good. And it's growing. Like last year I had one raised bed in my garden and it was so like productive and so amazing. And we were just like eating all this amazing fresh produce over the summer. So then at the beginning of this spring, as I was about to start planting, I got another raised bed built. So now I've got two, so I can grow more stuff. Yeah, and I'm learning slowly but surely, and I definitely am just doing it in quite a like, just chuck some seeds in and water them and just see what happens, and it seems to be working quite well.
Nature do its thing. I mean, there's nothing like pulling something out of the ground and eating it.
No. And I really hope that like I'll be able to, you know, like set a good example for my son, and that he will, without pressuring him to be involved or anything, but that he'll kind of, you know, always have that memory of having food growing in the garden and being like, you know, having his mum be like, oh, hey, can you go and like cut me a lettuce for lunch kind of thing, you know. So I definitely have that kind of romantic idea of it all in my head as well. But and like,
oh, super much. And he's going to be so resourceful, that kid, like, honestly.
So yeah, it's basically, you know, natural health podcasts when I'm doing either that, sometimes music, or silence. Yeah. I never like watching anything when I'm sewing, just because I can't really divide my attention that way. And also, even if I'm doing something quite complicated, or something like if I need to work out measurements, or if I'm doing like pattern cutting or something, I won't have a podcast on because I can't actually focus on what they're saying. So then it will usually be music or silence.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I find in the summer bird song takes over, so I just listen to bird song. I realize I've spent a whole day without watching or listening to anything. It's really lovely. So yeah. Oh, well, thanks so much for talking to me. It's been really lovely.
It's a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. And thank you everyone for watching. As always, amazing Rainbow Fabrics have got another new collection.
Love Rainbow.
Just incredible. So good. So thank you for sponsoring us, and also Happy Fabric, who've got a Love Island competition going on at the moment, so everyone get involved. It's very fun. And do you watch Love Island?
But I'll find out about a own competition. Definitely into that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the good part. Yeah, just everyone, thank you for watching, and take care, Elisalex. Have a lovely time. Have a lovely weekend with your dad family, and we'll see each other soon. Good luck with everything. Take care. Bye.